Hi there, my name is Ken Case and I'm the former director of the Master of Science in Engineering and Technology Management program. We call it the MSETM program from quite a long time ago, and I'm half developer of that program, and that will come clearer as we go ahead. I want to talk with you about this program and what we did and why it has been somewhat unique over the years and widely copied, including the name, the exact MSETM name. So anyway, I think all of the participating faculty and graduates have every right to be proud of the national honors that we've received over the years, including today. Let's go back for a minute to 1997. The late Dean Carl Reed had a brainstorm, and Carl had lots of brainstorms, but this one directly affected me, and he asked me, rather he told me, to get ready to develop a new program using distance learning. He wanted a master's program, Master of Science program, to serve engineering graduates with several years in industry. So they've been out of school, working in industry for several years, so they don't have to come on campus. And Carl saw this need out there, and I always thought about Carl as he's got it figured out. The program is to help improve skills for industry, including technical, managerial, strategic, and after you've been in industry for a while, you may stay on the strictly technical side, or you may move over to more of a management side, or be one of the strategic leaders of the organization. And he wanted a program that would let them be even more relevant in their organizations for their own advancement and the good of everybody. Carl knew many industry executives, and he hired Mr. Tony Maggio, a retired technical executive vice president from Seagate, a great guy, absolutely great guy, and Tony got it, okay? And I learned a lot from Tony. Tony and I spent about 9 months designing the program, and I want to give you some thoughts about what we were considering that were fairly different and a little bit controversial, and we had to make them work. It was, of course, originally for engineers to advance their careers with updated technical and managerial learning. We did decide, though, to open it to engineering technology graduates and to hard science like chemistry, statistics, and so on people, but the hard science graduates. We figured it'd be a nominal 3 to 4 years if people went on the program as scheduled. Some did it in as little as 1.5 years, but these were people who were staying up until midnight every night, taking lots of courses. They were eager to get that degree, and because keep in mind, they were working full-time in industry. They needed to have a rigorous project related to their organization, and that was going to turn out to be like a master's thesis. And it had to be useful and challenging, and in the semester before they were anticipating graduation, they'd finish up some courses, they'd develop the concept of what their problem was going to be, and they'd get approval. And that took some effort, because it had to be a coordination between their company management, their own thoughts, and us here at OSU. In the final semester, they'd finish any other courses, and then they do a project, defense, and presentation. We invited industry people from their company were welcome to come witness that if they wanted to, and we had a few do that. We drew moderately from the Industrial Engineering and Management program here at OSU using IEM faculty, but we didn't want it to be an IEM program. We needed some other components in there. We wanted to draw slightly from the College of Business with courses in accounting and finance, and anybody who gets into industry and particularly taking the management swing realizes we better know something about money. And so let's put our students who want them into finance and or an accounting course. Well, that's in another college. It turned out that it wasn't just super smooth to do, okay? We got some great cooperation from an associate dean named Jerry Lage. Unfortunately, it's the late Jerry Lage, and a wonderful and cooperating man. And Jerry Lage saw the good for everybody to do this. Jerry Lage got it. We surmise that traditional 3-hour courses are not really flat. That is, there are peaks in the material that are must-know material, and then there are some other things that slide off the side that are nice to know or fun to know, but not absolutely critical. And so we just said, what can we pack into, instead of a 3-hour course, what can we pack into a 1-hour course and make it all peak? And we figured out some ways to do that. We did that, really strong courses, and our students would tell us, oh my gosh, those 1-hour courses were killers. They were tough. They were tough. I want to tell you about the best move I ever made. Maybe in my lifetime, I hired Brenda Johnson. Brenda heard about the program. Brenda came over for an interview, and I said, Brenda, do you know anything about the MSETM program? Have you seen the little web page I put together? And she said, I've seen it and I know something about the program. The web page sucks bad. And I'm not sure she was that kind when she was telling me that. And I thought, hey, she's got it. So students loved her and her advice. She was with us for many years. Very efficient, always on time with what was needed to be done. She'd go out and participate in recruiting sessions with company executives and employees. She served as program director at times when, without title, when there were gaps in the program leadership. So the MSETM program owes a great deal to Brenda, and a vote of thanks also to those faculty who did serve as director and faculty over the years. Another thing we had to consider, some graduate programs took, I'm going to say, 2 months to make a decision. Somebody applies, wants to get in this graduate program, 2 months later they get a decision. We thought, we're not tracking on the 2-month deal. So we had an exceptional and very practical graduate dean. This This was really off the charts. But we went over and talked with him, and he's one of those who, after understanding what we were trying to do, he got it. And what we wanted to do is assign us one of the staff working in graduate admissions, and we wanted to help pick that person because we wanted a person who got it. And got it. What are we trying to do? Let's make it happen. And we wanted to get it down to, instead of 2 months, 1 to 2 days decision and feedback to prospective students. And we'd get back to them with a decision, accept, reject. If it was accept, we'd have their credentials. We would make a recommendation of what we thought of the courses coming up were the most appropriate for them, but they could still choose. They'd be enrolled, and they couldn't believe it. They'd say, "I've never seen anything like this." You know, a 2-day decision. The ultimate was the day I get a cold call. Guy I never had talked to before. He was interested in the program. He thought, we talked about it, walked through it. He said, I want to do this. I said, well, you're going to have to send in your credentials. He got them in. We reviewed them. Everything looked good. His undergraduate grades and his work experience and all of that. We turned this thing around. By the end of the day, had him enrolled in his courses. You see, 2 months, there's a lot of dead time in there. If you could get it done, and it's impressive. The students loved it, and people were really coming in droves. Okay, our recruiting visits were done in person by contacting company leaders and asking, could we come by and have an hour to talk with some of your employees who might want to modernize their education, including technical items, for example, statistical sorts of things, or management courses, something like a project management course, or strategic thinking, things like this. And they were very receptive, these executives. They would put the notice out. We'd have a nice group of people to talk with. We'd do a question and answer session with them about the program. They were eager to get into the program, and the conversion rate to come into the program was much higher than I ever expected. We added courses over time, mainly those 1-hour courses. Got them approved. Those were taught by subject matter experts. Keep in mind, those 1-hour courses are high-power courses, all heavy duty, and we needed people teaching who really knew what they were doing. And some of these people were faculty types and some were industry types. Worked out beautifully. Student acceptance. At the time, our mentality was, you got to have a bachelor's degree, have had a bachelor's degree with a 3-point average, 2.8, 2.5, but then we remembered, wait a minute, these people have 2, 3, 4 years of industry practice. Let's see what they've done there. So when we coupled their grades, their bachelor's grades and programs to their work experience and their achievements over in industry, we found some interesting things. And I just give you one example. We had a student who had a 2.0. I mean, not a 2.01, I mean a 2.0 grade average bachelor's degree in engineering. He had a work record that was just almost vertical. It was rather astounding, and we thought, this is not a match. The grades and the work experience and accomplishment does not match. We accepted him. He turned out to be, and keep in mind, the graduate dean didn't give us any hassle about that because he kind of knew what we were doing. He's a great guy. And anyway, this turned out to be one of our very, very best all-time students. And the last thing is, we did have an advisory committee, vice presidents, directors, managers were welcome, and as well as some former students, just to keep the program updated and alive. What other courses do we need to do? What do we need to drop out, and so on. So with that, you can see it was a very different sort of a development of a very different program that's been copied widely. It began in 1998 and is still running and still winning awards. And just a final thought, when you have a team of people who get it, you can move into uncharted territory and make rapid strides to achieve unbelievable goals. It's all about who's on the bus.